Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the KKRLA Week 2, Game 6. It is the net ranking number 14 non-beaters at home at Farmstead taking on the net ranking number 16 Keener Records. Both teams are here to fight for their first win. One team will go with a 0-2 loss, not winning a single game past these 2 weeks, and one team will run away with their first win. And by ranking, the non-beaters are favored by 2 ranks. But that's besides the point because we don't do favors because literally anything can happen inside these games. Well, let's go ahead and review of what happened last week. Week 1. What was the cause of the non-beaters' last loss? Well, the non-beaters going to the Keener club, which is a very good team to face, good team to face against in the regular season because that team is really good, and they were also at home, which gave them sort of a disadvantage. The non-beaters would lose to Keener club, not without a fight though, and then the Keener Records would lose to the Beat Tapes. Surprisingly enough, 7-2. The Beat Tapes taking revenge out on the Keener Records because the Beat Tapes losing to the Keener Records in last season's playoff, but then absolutely slaughtered them in their first game meetup, which is quite a thing to see, and we can hope a lot from the Beat Tapes. Other than them, honestly, I can't remember if they won or not, but I don't think they did. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with enough of the yap session, let's go ahead and move on to the game. Non-beaters versus the Keener Records. These two teams having completely different histories. The non-beaters have been here the longest. Actually, Samara goes for the first goal of the game, making this game 0-1 with 4 minutes and 57 seconds left on the clock. Assisted by Iceman. Samara getting that last chance shot. Nobody at the goal, so there was nobody to defend. So unlucky start for the non-beaters as now we go into the second tip with 4:57 left on the clock. Let's see who wins this one. It'll be the Keener Records once again for the second time. Gerwin trying to play some defense here. Iceman puts up the shot. Gerwin going to try to send it away. Samara gets a piece of it. Almost gets past Hollywood. Hollywood just gets a chip of it, which is enough to get it past. And the non-beaters having a chance to score here. That ball sitting in front of the goal. Hollywood tries to give it to someone. Nobody's there to catch except Gerwin coming in off of Hollywood. Are you serious? Hollywood tries to give it to someone. Yuri accidentally hits it. Over to Iceman. Go to Gerwin and then off Hollywood. Hollywood gets the first goal for the non-beaters, assisted by Gerwin. That ball moving at 71 kph. 4:36 left on the clock. Let's see who wins the third tip. It'll be Keener Records once again. Let's go ahead and read off the rosters for both teams. On the non-beaters, you have Hollywood, Gerwin, Gerwin, Myrtle, like Myrtle Beach, and Styx. And then for the Keener Records, you have Samara, Iceman, Storm, and Yuri, Yuri. The non-beaters getting the ball into the Keener Records side. Non-beaters want a chance at a lead. Won't have it as a Keener Records player is able to get it past the non-beaters. Storm tries to keep it in the non-beaters side. Non-beaters going to be able to get it over into the Keener Records side. Myrtle's going to find an open shot and make this game 2-1 as Myrtle scores the second goal for the non-beaters. That ball moving at 100 kph. 3:46 left on the clock as now we move into the fourth tip. Let's see who wins this one. Maybe it might be a change. It'll be the non-beaters winning their first tip of the game so far. Gerwin tries to put up a shot, barely misses. Hollywood's there to catch it. Yuri's going to send it all the way back into the non-beater side. Yuri trying to find a chance to put that as a goal. Styx going to hit it away. Samara gets a piece of it to keep it in the non-beater side. Yuri sending it into the goal line, trying to give a pass to a teammate. Nobody's there to catch it as Storm accidentally bumps Storm accidentally bumps who I assume was Samara out of the way. Myrtle trying to get that ball so close on the Keener Records side, but they just can't really find the rhythm that they need. But Sticks getting a lucky pitch is going to get it in the Keener Records side. Gerwin throws it up, passes it to Sticks. Sticks with an amazing catch of the pass, making this game 3-1. Sticks scoring that third goal, assist by Gerwin. Gerwin throws it up. Sticks sees the open pass. That ball moves at 90 kph as now we have 2:53 left on the clock. And here goes the fifth tip between these two teams. Both teams looking for their first win so far. Seems like the non-beaters have it in the bag, but you can't say that just yet with almost 3 minutes still left on the clock. Iceman gives it to Myrtle. Yuri's going to try to hit it away. Samara almost carried it into their own goal. Hollywood gets it in there. What a nice play. Hollywood was able to get that just by himself. Samara almost threw it into their own goal. Hollywood hits it barely off of there, and I don't think Iceman nor Samara realized that that ball was not a good choice to hit. That ball moving at 74 kph. Here goes the sixth tip as it moves into the non-beaters side. Keener Records trying to find their luck once again to try and get their second goal. Iceman trying to give it to somebody. Samara takes a chance at it. Gerwin's going to hit it away. Storm gets a piece of it, keeping it in the non-beaters side. Now, non-beaters, NON-BEATERS, and Keener Records, KENARECORDS, I think. Hopefully I spelled that right. Gerwin sends it up into the air, keeping it in the Keener Records side, trying to do anything they can to build on this lead. Tries to give a pass to somebody. Myrtle wasn't looking and goes back, unaware of the pass that was just handed to him. Myrtle comes up a bit too early. Hollywood going to save that potential shot from Samara. What an amazing play. Yuri puts up a shot. It's going to be a miss. Six gets it past Storm into the Keener Records side. Iceman gets it back into the non-beater side. Tries to give a pass to somebody. Samara misses. Storm tries to put something up. It's going to hit off a non-beaters player. Iceman trying to throw up that pass once again. Samara! And it's going to be Yuri hitting in the second goal for the Keener Records with exactly 1:11 left on the clock. 1:11. That ball moving at 84 kph, assisted by Iceman. Yuri's going to score that second goal for the Keener Records. This could be a catalyst or a starter for what they need to do to get this comeback at hands. Gerwin sends it away. Straight shot. That could be a potential chance of a goal. And it will be as Gerwin scores a long goal assisted by Sticks. Sticks was the last one to touch it off of the tip. Gerwin sends it away. That ball moving at 39 kph as it reaches the goal. 1:04 left on the clock. This game is now 5-2 as Gerwin scores the fifth goal. Here goes as 1:04 is left on the clock with the eighth tip. It'll be won by the Keener Records as they try to have a simultaneous chance. Now, let me recall back to a game back in Season 2. I keep recalling back to this one, but the Keener Records versus the Dafts. Keener Records, or no, not Keener Records, but Keener Gamers versus the Dafts. Keener Gamers were losing 3-0, and it was like maybe 1:01 left on the clock, and as soon as that final minute reached, if you skipped a minute, you would see that it was overtime, 3-3. They played amazing that game, but just couldn't really handle the overtime pressure and ultimately lost that game, which was probably a saddening loss. Storm trying to get a shot off. Will do it. 5-3 with 25 seconds left on the clock. As Storm scores that third goal for the Keener Records. Samara with the assist. That ball moving at 54 kph as it reaches the goal. And here goes now with the ninth tip. 25 seconds are left on the clock. As now it's sent over into the Keener Records side. This is not what the Keener Records want, as if they want to pull off any sort of comeback, they need to save as much time as they possibly can. But it seems like the non-beaters are finding a good way to waste the time. Myrtle keeps it in the Keener Records side, wasting even more time, actually putting up a potential goal from the corner. Look at this, watch this. Myrtle hits it. Direct spot into the corner, makes it float, and it goes in. with 6 seconds left on the clock, going to score the 6th goal for the non-beaters, as they might have a 3-goal win, but that really depends. Here goes the 10th tip as it goes over into the non-beater side. And that's going to be the game as the non-beaters win the game. An amazing game for the non-beaters. Let's go ahead and look. Gerwin is your MVP with 360 score, 1 goal, 2 assists, 0 saves, and 3 shots. Followed along by Myrtle with 314 score, 2 goals, 0 assists, 0 saves, and 4 shots. Followed along by Hollywood with 296 score, 2 goals, 0 assists, 0 saves, and 1 shot. Followed along by Sticks with 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 save, and 1 shot. All ones across the board. Let me just real quickly mention that the Keener Records only had 3 goals. Yeah, right? But they ended up having 7 shots. That's missed opportunities is what you could call that. But let's go ahead and get into the after-game talk. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the after-game talk. What an impressive game by the non-beaters as they make the Keener Records 0-2. Probably going to stick at number 16 as the season moves on into the 3rd week. So that's probably not good for the Keener Records considering they were last season's champions. But the non-beaters ultimately won because they were wanting their first win probably more than the Keener Records did. They obviously had enthusiasm and was ready to play. Their defense obviously knowing exactly what to do to keep the ball away from the Keener Records other than 3 goals. But those were some lucky ones. I think 2 of them. One of them was, I think, pretty nice. And then the Keener Records offense obviously was just in a slump. They really need to go on a win streak throughout this season if they want to have a chance at the tournament. But it's only week 2, so we can't really be talking about the tournament until maybe week 6. Definitely week 7, obviously week 8. Because there's 8 weeks in the KKRLA. And then the defense from the Keener Records obviously was not there mentally, per se. It just seemed out of place. Like, hey, where's the defense? Whoa, that's not... What is defense? Is basically what the Keener Records were asking. But, well, I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. I hope to catch you for tomorrow's 2 games. And after those 2 games, it'll end week 2, and I'll try to get the rankings out. That is the Song Mixers versus the Third Strikers at Neon Fields. And then it is the number 2 Cuckoos of Shea versus the 8-Bit Legends at Dead Eye Canyon. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for those 2 games. And bye-bye now.